Hi there and welcome to Bustthenet. Yes, this is Gamechanger, a chance for me to delve into one of your saves and, well, give you some feedback. I have taken a look at this save. This is interesting because normally I get Gamechanger by guys at the bottom of the table. So at first I thought I was looking at Tondela. Then I realized very quickly, no, this is Benfica. So Matt Harvey sent me a save from Benfica, and he wants to create a side and he wants to know whether he's on the right track. Now, you tactically at home, you probably are close to being on the right track. Goal difference of 58 suggests that I might want to take a slightly deeper look at this. The second thing I would do is look at your financial situation as well. So financially, last season, profit loss generating overall barrels 92, not too bad. Compared to where you started, right? You pumped in quite a healthy profit. So if you're targeting something like 70 million to 80 million, is something that you should realistically be targeting as a site like Benfica, because you come in at such a high level, so you can definitely make a lot of money very quickly managing clubs like Benfica, Porto, even Sporting Lisbon. These are clubs that are in a very strong position to make money because of their youth academies. So then we look at the transfer policy of the club. Okay, so from what I can see, you've done a good job of going out there looking for talent. So you signed this player 6.25, potentially a very good wing back. You got him for 6.25 and his value at 14.25. Very smart. Mario Rui from Napoli, defender wing back. You've done the whole strategy which I've suggested in the tactics guide as well as in this show, which is go bank on fullbacks, because left backs are really hard to find. So you've got yourself one left back here. Cunha, youngster, you've got high hopes for him. I can see why this is a good buy. You've asterisked I noticed you've asterisked all these top players, youngsters as well. So that's a very, very cool way of tracking the ones that you really want to pay attention to. Okay, so the goal here is whenever you sign these players, you just don't go in there. You have to have a strategy, right? Okay, so Cunha is currently 17 years old, so he's gonna have to play first team football at the age of 18, right? So he's got to be able to crack into the first team by the age of 19, even 18. If he can do it, that's even better. Your tactic has to be able to adapt him into the system. So if you want to buy players, want to buy youngsters, you want to develop them, either you develop them into your system, or when they reach a certain age, you loan them to clubs that play the system that will suit these players. So you're gonna have to do a lot of research. Like especially you're gonna have, every time a team that wants to loan you a player, you're gonna have to dig into that team and go and find out how they used to play their matches, how they play their matches rather, and see whether you can fit into the system. Then you gotta insist that they play in that specific position that you want, so that he develops. If you, for example, you could be playing a 4-4-2 narrow diamond, and your system that you're using doesn't use a winger, right? So you may be using you might be using systems which have wingers, and this player is going to be a central player. So you tell yourself, okay, fine, he's not going to suit my system. So you loan him to a club which has got room for a central attacking midfielder. So in this particular case, when I look at his attributes, the moment I see his attributes, looks or pass rather than attempt to score, the first thing I'm going to do with this player is I'm going to remove that attribute, right? Okay, because if he's going to be going forward with those passing attributes, you see he's got passing and teamwork of 16, so he's always going to pass the ball. You're going to be developing as a playmaker out of the gate. First touch is there, passing is there, technique is there, teamwork is there, acceleration is there, so you can break into space. You can teach him how to knock the ball forward. You got to work on his attributes. So you got to have to be very focused about how you develop these players. And they got to fit into your system. So if they don't fit into your system, you loan them out to clubs they can play for. Now, Rui, whatever your name is, Engak. Okay, you sound like a coffee, but never mind. Defender, right? Again, 16 years old. He's only got 2 seasons. You got to train him. You got to keep your eye out. You got to keep an eye out on him and start bringing him through the tiers. The moment he's 17 years old, you should be able to try and give him some game time. It doesn't, okay, do you need to give him like 20 games a season? Or just bring him 1 or 2 games first when he's 17 years old. Leave him in the under 18s team. And then when he's 18, then introduce him to the first team squad. Make sure that he's mentored already. You can do it now, in fact. You can move him to the main team squad and mentor him, but he's got a fairly professional personality, not really necessary. So he's going to develop well. Then you just train this guy to be a wingback right out of the gate. So you have to be very specific about what you want them to achieve. Alfonso Silva, another youngster, attacking midfielder, right? This brings me back to my earlier point. They gotta fit into your system. So if you are playing, I notice you're playing a 4-2-3-1, definitely this guy can fit into your system, but what role do you give him? Now, my favorite role to give a lot of AMs, AML and AMR is actually the inside forward role, because it's very good for development, covers the needed areas that you want, and you can also retrain them to be, they can start playing as inside forwards in your system. So he's got the knack for it as well. So I would definitely work on that. Plus, I will give him individual focus, which is something I'm going to take a look at with the rest of your attack, with the rest of your training. Paulo Suarez did well again here. Defender left, good smart move here. You go out there, bank on these players, put them in the bank. Now Pedro is not a bad striker, 22 years old, plenty of potential, playing very close to his potential as well. You can see that by the 3.5 stars versus the 4 for PA, means he's very close to fulfilling his potential. Shoots from distance is unfortunate, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. His personality is balanced, so this is one player that you may want to tutor the moment he comes in. Use the introducing to club feature to do that. So when he comes into the club, get a player who's got a resolute personality or a professional personality, who might even be a striker. But if he's not a striker, it doesn't matter, because what you want is that personality of that guy who takes him around the club to rub off on him, because it actually does work. And then you got Mateus Fernandes, the very exquisite looking defensive midfielder that I wish I had. Holy cow, this guy is good. Now this gets forward whenever possible trait is a fantastic trait for a midfielder, especially those midfielders that might even become carreros, because these guys, they will if they have got good first touch, good ball control, good dribbling, close control, which is, you can see here, he's got first touch, he's got dribbling, you can develop him. Playmaker, again, another potential attacking playmaker that you can train him as an attacking playmaker, play him as a carrero, and see what he does. He's going to turn into your little Eden Hazard. So I will be very excited to manage Mateus Fernandes, especially if he's only 21 years old. There's a lot of upside to this guy. This guy will potentially be huge for your team, and he's going to give you a lot of money when you sell him off. So the thing here is this: whenever you get all these players, when you sell them off, make sure that their contracts, once they go, has a future release clause, right? So let's look at the contract info. There's a sell-on fee percentage of 5%. Yeah, that's his sell-on fee. But what you want to make sure is when they are sold off, right, for each player that you sell off, if it's only 1.6 million, make sure that you stick in a 40% sell-on percentage, meaning profit from the percentage of next sale. So you have the clause there. So other clubs come to buy your players, they may offer you 1.6 million, right? So sometimes I prefer not to tag on too much cash up front. So I give them installments, and then I add in a percentage of next sale. So the percentage of next sale is big money sometimes. Sometimes these guys can never ever do percentage of profit, right? So because the AI has got sometimes it's a bad habit of downselling some of his players. So you want to always percentage on next sale. Nicolas Castillo, again, you sold off this young player for 5 million. Now he's valued at 11.5. So the thing here is this. So this is what I mean. For all the players that you sell off, their value might shoot up very quickly. So you always want to have that percentage of sale tagged into their contract. So your value that you sold off players was 98 million. Now it's okay, it's not phenomenal, because your best sale was Rafa. I know in a lot of these cases you're probably just offloading players, right? But every one of your sales, make sure you tag that on the percentage. It's gonna make you a lot of money, especially if your goal is to become a top club. Now, it's not unheard of. I've seen saves that have been sent to me where I've just jaw dropped at the amount of money these guys made, other managers have made. I've seen Portuguese sides sell players for 80 million in this game. It's very possible. So, but the only way that is done in the game is if you create a tactic that suits those players. So if you're gonna do that as a strategy, that's what you're gonna employ. So this is gonna be very important for your transfer strategy going forward as Benfica. Okay, now let's take a look at your training. I haven't even gone to tactics yet. I just want to focus on what I think are the important things that you might have missed out on. Okay, I suspected as much. Okay, now here you've got a training session which has got a very light, this is a light load. When you see something like this week, right, this is a light load. We only got one match. Guaranteed your team has a light load. This week it's fine to have a heavy load, right? So it's fine to have a light load when you have 2 matches, but not fine to do this because it will affect your player development. So you're gonna have to look at your games. And you know what I typically do, sometimes I like the default training program. So you see this is like, this default is called control possession, right? So you can go in here, go to technical and do ball distribution. This will be in line with the same training. You can do attacking direct and then confirm and add a bit more to that week itself so that the load goes up for the players. Now, if you look at the load of your players, before I did that, you will see, let's go to the squad. Let's take a look at training, right? Now, I've changed the load. So now it's all medium, medium, very light, very light, very light. Had I not changed it, your load would have been very light. So your players would all have a very light to light workloads. Now, this is for this specific week. The second thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that they're working on a focus for your team. Like Mateus Fernandes, you're working him as a box-to-box midfielder. That's fine. Box-to-box midfielders have one of the broadest attribute distribution I've seen in this game. I mean, it's literally, what are you not training? That's the thing here. So here, what we want to do is we want to work on attributes. In this particular case, he's doing all right. Perhaps you want to give him an additional focus for attacking movement or additional focus for final third. Final third works on vision and decisions and composure. Or you can just focus on the attacking movement, which is going to double up on some of the other areas that he's working on. Good. Now what happens to is, because his training workload is only medium, so you can see that the effect on the play isn't that high. So I've added 2 more sessions to your schedule, taken the workload of that player from light, because it would have been light with that session in there. You can remove it and we can give you rest, and you'll see what I mean now. So as you can see, the squad's whole workload is actually light. You can go to the calendar and adjust it from here, because there's really, I mean, it's not a bad training schedule, right? So we go in here, we want to stay on attacking, so we go general. I'll just go to technical, ball distribution, come in here, attacking, patient. I'll come in here and do technical, transition, restrict. Okay, fine. All right, so we've given him a training schedule right now for the team. Now, what is going to happen is your team's workload is not going to shoot up for this week alone only. All right, so squad, training, boom, they're all gone to medium now. So this is actually decent, right? This is not bad. This is pretty decent training. And here for players like this, German Conti, whenever I train players, I'm very specific. I want them to be this training schedule. There's nothing wrong with this one because it works on these areas, but you want them to be working on areas for like defensive position. Get them to double up. There's nothing wrong with this. Positioning, decisions, marking improves. His defensive positioning will improve, and over time, you see, you'll be getting these players to the maximum or close to the optimum level of training that they need, because light is only good during that week where you have 2 or 3 matches. Now once you set everything up nicely, it'll be medium in most cases. Still, Then during the times when there are heavy games, all you have to do is make sure that you have enough rest days. So you're juggling, using the sessions in training to manage the load of your players. So it becomes very easy. So now once I go to April and I see this coming week, I won't adjust this because I know there's 2 games here. Maybe I don't need to. But when you only have 1 match, this is what you do. The other thing to bear in mind is that you generally want your heavier training schedules to be on this day. Once you do something like this, you can save your training schedules and it'll be fine. Okay, now let's take a look at your tactics. Now, tactically, honestly, there's nothing wrong with this tactic, right? Ball winning midfielder, central midfielder on support, inside forward, support carpeting is a DLF on attack, which is like a quasi target man without asking for one. Okay, because he holds up ball, takes more risk moves. Seriously, this like target man on attack is about the same thing as well. Wing on support, AP on support. Okay, you got no PIs, it's fine. Okay, so this is okay. Does well for you at home. Perfectly decent tactic at home. Perfectly decent tactic at home. Essentially, they're both exactly the same tactic, actually. Champions League away matches can be a bit more challenging because, as you probably have already found out, playing against sides like Arsenal, Manchester United, away from home is always going to be a challenge. Looking at this, you did okay. Possession-wise, you did all right. Arsenal had a better game. The only way you can find this out very easily or efficiently is to go this portion of the game and start looking at shots, right? So shots on goal by Arsenal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inside the box. This is really dangerous football, right? Shots hitting the world. Okay, and then you got shots saved. That was 6, right? Off target. 7, 8, 9, 10. If you count this is not really easy shot. Okay, shots blocked, 11, 12. So yeah, 12 shots inside the box. That's 50% of the shots that were inside the box. They just had bad finishing on the day. You, on the other hand, 2 outside the box, 1 outside edge of the box. Saved 2 decent shots inside the box. Shots blocked, you had all outside the box. So on a scale of 1 to 10, was this a good strategy? Luck saw you draw against Arsenal. So what you want to do is you want to make it harder for Arsenal to score against you away from home. So tactically, you got to change your game plan when you go away from home. At home, you notice your matches, you've got a lot of 1-0s as well. Narrow wins. Let's take a look at Boavista. Well, against Boavista, you did pretty okay. I mean, you forced them wide in a lot of cases. Then for Benfica, you had only 2 quality chances. I mean, I consider this area to be quality chances, right in front of the penalty area. So this is how you analyze your tactics to see where you're short. Okay, now let's take a look at your squad itself and identify. I'm not going to take a look at all the players. I'm just going to take a look at the players that have potential, right? So this guy, Thomas Arau. Okay, so he is jumping reach 11, potentially a defender. I don't think so. If you gotta track him, if he doesn't become a defender, you gotta retrain him. So this is how I approach this guy's development. Shelton Bial, another goalkeeper. Okay, fine. I don't do goalkeepers, I buy them. So it's really up to you. Goalkeepers, I wouldn't bother. In this game especially. I mean, I'm not one to develop goalkeepers. I just go out there and buy them. I'm sacrificing the development of a bigger group to benefit a small group. So I'd rather go and buy goalkeepers. It makes more sense that way. So that's my approach. Now, how Felix is okay. Attacks, he's a wonder kid. You have to play him. So you got all these players that are potentially very good. Dictates tempo, brings ball out of defense. You got to find a system for him. Jota, 21-year-old playing for Benfica, very good. Gets into opposition, cuts inside. Very attacking-minded player. You gotta play you gotta end up playing 4-2-3-1s for these kind of players because you have them in your club and you want to develop them, or you play a system that allows you to attack from deeper areas, because these guys, when they attack players, they're more dangerous attacking from a deeper area. Why? Because if you're camping in an opponent's half, they're already defending. So these guys do a hell of a lot more just to break down the side. But if they're attacking at speed, attacking players, then they are actually a lot more dangerous, right? Because they're gonna run at players. They're gonna run at wingers much earlier in a transition, and that's when if you counter press them, you could catch them off guard. Luka Jovic, 22-year-old. This guy is a striker. Again, you have to look at the attributes of the players. Like, you know, if you're playing with a 4-2-3-1, then you want that the player up top to be a complete forward kind of quality. He has to give you options in the air and on the ground. So jumping reach, this area you're not doing very well. Okay, so in terms of your strikers, you need strikers, I mean, who are solid in the air, and also, you know, who can play as complete forwards, right? So you've got one player here whose jumping rate is 14, finishing is 15, composure off the ball running is about 14. So you're looking at these attributes when you assign these players. So you're looking at players who can play an all-action role in front. Raul Jimenez, striker, 28 years old, sell him, don't keep him. He's not going to add value to your side anymore. He's a 4 million, so he's a backup, yes, but the first chance you get, offload this player. I think that's already in your plan. So play him. So then this becomes a problem for you. You got strikers you're going to get rid of, but nobody's going to come and give you top dollar. You end up having to play a 2-striker system. A 4-3-1-2 is the best bet to sell strikers off. So if you want to get attention for your players domestically to sell, play a 4-3-1-2. A 4-3-1-2, you always sell the strikers for top dollar. A 4-2-3-1, never. You sell maybe your AMC, your inside forwards, or your wing backs, but hardly have I seen strikers go for like 120, 150 million in a 4-2-3-1. So I would definitely come up with a second system to suit my strikers in this setup. This way I can develop my wing backs to become dollar money earners as well. So tactically, your long-term plan has to be to sign more strikers in your team that have the ability to play as all-round complete forward. So you're looking at under 23 team. Your strikers at the moment, you've got one Pedro Suarez who's on loan. Plays with back to goal, right? So you think that he can make a good target man, except for his jumping, which is 13, hopefully. But still, he's better off on loan than playing for your first team. You want somebody that you can definitely go, okay, I'm going to start using him straight away. This guy, loan or sell, don't even keep. There's no point hanging on to him. Henrik Araujo, again, another situation. So it looks very clear, very, very clear to me that your long-term plan has to be to go and get a striker. You have to start scouting. So how do you plan that? Okay, so what you want to do is you want to set scouting filters up to look for youngsters, right? So I would start with jumping reach, work rate, and natural fitness. These are the ones I would begin with. 14, 12, 11 sounds okay because there will always be a range that you have to work off. And then I will go out there and scout these players and get full information. So I see that your knowledge levels of some of these players is already 80%. So this should be enough for you to determine whether or not you want to sign any of them. Then all you got to do is fine-tune your selection, but you definitely need to go and get a player, and I would definitely be hunting for like a player that's got at least a 4.5-star potential, and just bring them and add them to the team. You need to have more strikers in your club. Personally speaking, I know some people find the 4-3-1-2 incredibly hard to play. And my personal preference is the 4-3-1-2 when it comes to scoring goals and selling players. But I can sense the hesitation by people who are a bit worried about the 4-3-1-2. So what I would do now is to create a tactic that is more suitable for you when you are playing the European sides away from home. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create one where the boys are just gonna go in there and create all kinds of havoc once we get the ball. And our goal is to create this tactic for use right now domestically, so that we can get set up for the big matches to come. And here I will not be using tackle harder as an instruction out of the gate. I'll rather the pressing intensity, which is team pressing intensity. I'm going to avoid that at the moment, and I'm just going to use these instructions. Okay, so we got a halfback here on defense, And we're going to use a register here on support to help us push forward. And then we're going to ask the S-man to choose who's going to be playing for this mixed match. Pretty simple. Well, we managed to put the tactic through his paces. First game against Chavez, we won this 3-0 very comfortably. There was no pressure on us. We had no shots to worry about. Against United away from home, well, we scored early, 58th minute. Very nice goal, actually. This came off some good work after defending from United, which was our plan, to defend deep and attack quickly. Zivkovic out wide, drags, plays the ball out, and Chervi scores unmarked. United, for large periods of this match, didn't have any shots on target. Up to this point in the 67th minute, they had 0 shots on target. And we had restricted them to a lot of long shots and block shots. Then finally, as luck would have it, they managed to get one fluky goal when our defense didn't do a very good job at the back. Pogba playing the ball through to Lukaku. Lukaku then, I don't know how this ball ended up in the back of our net, but it did. United surviving the home leg against Benfica. And then against Rio Avenue, we continue using the same tactic. We beat Rio Avenue for 3-1. And then against Manchester United, for our return leg against Manchester United, we did okay. We used the wide for 1-3-2, scoring Jovic picking up the early cross and bearing the shot. And then Romelu Lukaku, well, here at this point, again, I'm being a bit of a retard and I decided to switch tactics. Unfortunately, that's not a very good idea. We were too high up the pitch, eager to get more goals, but they hit us on the counter. And we decided, well, this game isn't going to be over just yet. In extra time, we managed to score from a set piece, giving us a 2-1 lead. United then picked a goal from a set piece. Unfortunately for us, we didn't do well. Martial scoring. And then now Felix decided, well, it's time for Benfica to take all the points. As you can see, now this is a different tactic. I've reverted to the deep 4-2-3-1. Chervi out wide, plays the ball to Zivkovic. Zivkovic decides to pick up the loose clearance from Lindelof. We walked away with a 3-2 win. Tactically, I would recommend not doing what I did. Okay, this is the system that we used, which can work with Benfica. Inverted winger, wing on attack, AP on attack, target man, poacher, halfback, wing back. This is an extremely aggressive 4-1-3-2. Would I be playing this in the long run for Benfica in Champions League matches? No, this was just for fun because I figured your boys can actually pull this off. And we did. We scored the first goal using the system. But I would be more likely to use this system if I were to play in Europe. Even if you quick pick, your ass man is going to choose the right players here. Fernandes, Luis, or Samaris can play in this position. Then we got Jota who can play here. You also have a Chervi who can play here. Salvio can play here. Zivkovic can play here. Pizzi can play here. How Felix can play here. You got wing backs in your club that can play in these positions. So this is definitely a system that you can use. There are not a lot of PIs in the system. And then with your 4-2-3-1, now you have a DLF on attack. Personally, I'd probably be more likely to use a target man. But DLF can still work. He did work very well in some of the games. I did some matches I would change this guy into an attacking playmaker on attack, which also works with a winger on attack. This role I probably change him into a Cairelo, or CM on support can still work, but the reason why I don't like CM on support is because too many things are left up to the decision making of the player. So if he doesn't have good decision making, then I would definitely specifically set a role up for him. So your tactics can still work. I mean, AP on attack can, against defensive sides, this is something I might try. Winger on attack, a winger on attack, and AP on attack. Could be a very heavy attacking tactic, or you could do this, wing on support, okay, and then go wing back on attack. This might work in some of the matches, especially if you are playing against a side that's camping for large periods of time. This too can work as well. A 4-2-3-1, don't forget, a 4-2-3-1 can also be employed with underlaps and underlaps on left and underlaps on right. This would also put a lot of pressure centrally as your players come running through the middle. So these are all options of your 4-2-3-1. Now, if I was managing Benfica, the biggest thing I would worry about is the future with your strikers. So I would definitely be developing strikers in your club, or I'll be going out to find strikers so I can add to the club. And in terms of tactics, away from home for Champions League matches, I would start seriously thinking about using tactics like this, especially if I'm playing away from home. At home, you can definitely get away with playing a 4-2-3-1 against sides like a lot of the sides, but I might start with something more conservative like this, make it harder for other teams to break us down, which is exactly what happened to United. United hardly had a shot on goal for 90 minutes. We're lucky to get the equalizer when we were playing at Old Trafford. This is a lot more aggressive. I would definitely change this rule though. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Game Changer series of shows. And if you have any questions, please look me up on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. You make this kind of shows possible for the rest of the community. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.